Dr.V.Shanta was born in a distinguished scientific family of India in Mylapore, Chennai on 11th March 1927. She hails from a family of two Nobel laureates, her immediate granduncle being Sir C.V. Raman and her uncle Dr. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. In pre-independent India, most girls would not even go to school. However, Shanta, who belonged to an intellectual family, where women were educated but rarely took to a career, wanted to be different. She came across people like Lady Dufferin and Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy, who made lasting impressions on her, resulting in her decision to pursue a career in medicine. She graduated in 1949 with MBBS, one of 10 girls in a class of 100. She was fortunate to have had great teachers who, by their codes of discipline, ethics, integrity, and knowledge, acted as role models and shaped her thoughts, works, and deeds. She then completed DGO in 1952 and MD in Obstetrics and Gynecology in 1955. She was later trained in oncology at Toronto and in bone marrow transplantation in the UK. In April 1955, Dr. Shanta joined the Adyar Cancer Institute. She was also earlier a part of the campaign for the Cancer Relief Fund opened by Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy prior to setting up of the Cancer Institute. She played an important role along with Dr. Krishnamurthy in the development of the Cancer Institute from a cottage hospital of 12 beds to a major comprehensive cancer center comprising of 650 beds of national and international stature. Established as a voluntary, charitable, non-profit institution with public donations, it has remained true to its words and spirit with added attributes of discipline, honesty, integrity, and selfless service.
Hi, speaking about Professor Shanta, she was one of those pioneers who had started the oncological practice in India, and as a part of the team which started the institute in Adyar. She was one of those people who was more interested in managing children. Along with the Professor McGrath and Ian Tannock, she has first just devised the Indian indigenous protocol for children with leukemia, where before this protocol they were not even hope for cure. And after this protocol was brought to force by efforts of Professor Shanta, we could achieve a cure almost like 60-70%. That is, out of 100 children diagnosed with leukemia, we can cure 60 to 70 people, which is a major achievement 3 to 4 decades back, where at that phase, cancer was literally a death knell on any patient. This was achieved, and this was all because of the pure effort of Professor Shanta. And mind you, she was not a pediatrician or a pediatric oncologist by training, she is a gynecologist. But she showed so much of interest and affection towards children that she forced herself into pediatric oncology. And what right now we are seeing as success in pediatric oncology in India currently is all because of the seeds sown by Professor Shanta. And she is very compassionate about children's care, specifically like many diseases like Hodgkin's, Wilms tumor, where the cure rate is exceeding about 90%. She used to make sure that none of the patients default therapy, and she used to ensure if they are really financially constraints are there in the family, she makes sure that all these patients get this care free of cost at Adyar Cancer Institute. And I think so from her vision only, Adyar Cancer Institute has grown up the last so many decades, and it's still a well-renowned institute in oncological practice, specifically pediatric oncology practice. So you cannot remove her name from the history of pediatric oncology in India, and she's been such a pioneer in many facets in oncological practice. Thank you.
Hello, I am Prashant Ganeshan. I am Professor of Medical Oncology at Chipmunk, Puducherry. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about Dr. Shanta. I had worked at Cancer Institute Adyar for about 8 years, and I had the good fortune to meet and have some discussions with Dr. Shanta. We all know about her innumerable achievements as a pioneering oncologist, the person who took the Cancer Institute to great heights, and also her numerous awards. There are many situations where we could meet her for discussing about patient care, about research. What struck you was even if you talk to her for 10 minutes, you would see the world and your work with such clarity and with such perspective. This was possible only by a person who's like a true karma yogi, who dedicated her life and who had that courage of conviction that could inspire other people. Another thing, what struck you when you met her was her immense simplicity. For her, the patient was at the center of everything, and she made sure that the ethos of the institute reflected that. The entire decision making revolved around the patient, and she could easily convince anybody, whether it's a corporate honcho coming to donate funds for the institution, or some employee meeting her for any of the problems related to the day-to-day running of the institute. So, in spite of all her achievements, Dr. Shanta was a very simple person. She lived in a small room in the institute for her entire life. So, there are statements like they don't make them like that anymore. I think Dr. Shanta was an example for that. It's very difficult to find a person like that who lived their life as a mission for others. Thank you once more for giving me this chance to talk about Dr. Shanta.
Although Dr. Shanta is no more, she continues to live in the hearts of the many people she saved and influenced.